Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. The dream team are back, Ste and Errol. We never lose, Errol. Touch wood. Touch wood. So if Liverpool can't do it for themselves, we're going to have to do it for them. So yeah, we're back. I think we're working out before. You guys who have been loyal viewers might be able to tell us differently. But we think Liverpool have lost one game with me and Errol in here, and it was Inter Milan when it didn't matter anyway. If someone remembers a different game where we did as well, do let us know. But I hope I'm not jinxing it. But we've brought all the good juju back. So yeah, Paul, Chris are at the stadium with Chloe, me and Errol are here. Dan's here on the socials and Tom's here as well. So hopefully we can bring Liverpool a good look that they desperately need, because Errol, with Wolves being called off, Liverpool haven't had a chance to put last week right yet, because last week was, Jurgen said it was the worst performance they've had under him. They haven't had a chance to ease one in against the Wolves side, who are in poor form. It's out the frying pan into the fire against a very good Ajax side, who they blew everyone away this year again, albeit in Holland, and they battered Rangers. But this is no easy game at all for Liverpool. This is like a tough test in a game they can't really afford to lose.
No, they can't. I don't even think you could have overlooked Wolves, if I'm honest with you. They got Diego Costa just on the weekend as well, didn't they? So that would have had them and their fan base up for it as well. We can't underestimate. We know we got off to a piss poor start at the start of this group, but we can't underestimate the first home game of this campaign for us. We have to go out and get a win. Ajax have been a good team, but I think if we are able to be a lot more compact, we're able to be a little bit more direct as well. Find ways to just unlock. I think with the benefit of having a couple of lads back from injury, being able to find a way to unlock their defence is going to be absolutely key for us tonight. We know it's been a difficult last week, not just for Liverpool, but for, nationwide. I don't want any of that to be a bit of a hangover for this game. I just want the lads to purely focus on the task at hand.
And like I say, getting back into the groove of things, one thing, like, it's a Champions League group stage, and we're already 0 points after one game. That Ajax wiped the floor with Rangers. There's a good chance Napoli do the same. Like, if Liverpool lost this one, there'd be 2 teams on 6 points and 2 teams on 0 points, and that's a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
You're gonna have to
really beat Rangers home and away, and then you're gonna have to go and beat them away and home again.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a tough ask. Liverpool, so like I say, it isn't only just a case of getting back into form. The way week one worked out, it's a tough ask. And like I say, Ajax's form. I spoke to Pepimento from We Talk Ajax, the build-up show, and he basically said, new manager, loads of new players. They've been pleasantly surprised, because it shows on the screen here for those watching along. Played 6-1-6 in the league, 21 goals scored, only 3 conceded. Add into the mix there, they obviously battered Rangers 4-0 as well. So basically 7 games played, 7 games won, 25-3 goals for and against. This is one of the most informed teams in Europe, Liverpool up against. So this isn't.
I didn't need those stats.
But
we can't hide away from it.
Yeah, it's the fucking Champions League.
Let's call a spade a spade. They are one of the top form teams in Europe.
And it's the Champions League. These were the pot 1 seed. These were the best team in the group according to the rankings and the coefficients and stuff. Liverpool needs. It's as simple as that. You can't afford to ease your way into the season. And this, I was saying this the other day. It's similar to a draw at Goodison is usually okay, but it's bad when it's because it follows a draw against Fulham and a draw against Palace. A draw against the
Man U as well.
But a draw against the pot 1 team, if you draw both games against the pot 1 team, you're hoping that you just wipe the floor with pots 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Well, Rangers, who knows, that they're going to be as up for that as anything, obviously, with the whole Scotland-England thing, and Napoli battered us. So that's the thing, isn't it? The results are reflective of what's gone before them. Usually a point, listen, you want to win all your home games, but get the best team in the group and draw with them both games and beat all the other crap, and we'll get through on some
first or second.
We'll get through somewhere in there, but we're not there yet.
No, there's no games at a dead set for us right now, and I think that's a good thing, because the way we've been playing, we don't deserve to have dead set games anymore. We've got to earn the right to be in this competition. We've sat at this top table now for, is it 5 years? This is our 5th season consecutively in the Champions League under Klopp, and we've done that on merit. We've not done that because, we've got this legacy and we just walk into it we had to earn our way into it first and foremost, because we fumbled the bag when it comes to the Europa League final. We had to go and work again for another season to get ourselves to qualify for it, and then it's been our job to hold on to that position ever since. We know how important it was for us when, the season with the defence all just seemed to work for us. We didn't get the rub of the green, and the defence was just on its lassies. We know how important it was that last day of the season when we ended up finishing 3rd. We knew that was going to be massive for us, and I think you're right in what you're saying there in terms of right now, when you're up against the Ajax team that have got form, they've brought in a new manager, they've got a load of new players that are all finding their system and finding their feet a lot quicker than ours, where we seem to be a little bit flat-footed at the moment. We don't seem to be doing as much running, potentially on the ball and off the ball, as other teams that we're coming up against. It means that there's no easy game. And when there's no easy game, the one bare minimum requirement is you've got to outwork your opponents. You've got to graft harder than them. And I don't think the Anfield crowd will have forgot about last week's performance. I know we didn't have the game on the weekend, but I don't think they will have forgot. I think they're expecting a reaction tonight, and I think they will. It'll be a hostile atmosphere, but I think it'll be one that is geared to kind of propel us forward. I don't think it will be, nervous or anything like that. I think it'll be a bit more of a defiant atmosphere because they know the importance of this game.
Right. I 100% agree. The Anfield crowd are going to be treated to quite a team. So I'm going to make my way over to the board. Errol was going to read the Liverpool team out. Tom, bring it up on the screen for you now. And Jürgen's put the big guns out.
Yeah, he has. And we've got Alisson in goal with Alexander-Arnold keeping his place at right back. Matip, Van Dijk and Tsimikas are going to be the back four. Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott is that midfield three. It looks like we're staying with the 4-4-3 formation. I'll get your thoughts on that in a minute, Steve. And we have Diaz, Salah and Jota all playing in that front line.
Ajax went 11 out of 11 on his team news.
Boom.
How did he get on?
I'll tell you the subs now.
Yeah.
We've got Adrian, Davies, Gomez, Milner, Firmino, Nunes, Carvalho, Arthur, Besiktas, and there was one more, but Tom cut me off.
Go back, Tom.
There's only one more. The last one was...
Let's have a look.
I'll tell you now. It's just coming back up. The last one's Phillips.
Did you get all this right? Let's go. Adrian.
Yeah.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Davies.
Yeah.
Milner.
Yeah.
Phillips.
Yeah.
Nunes.
Yeah.
Gomez.
Yeah.
Carvalho.
Yeah.
Bacetic.
Yeah.
Clark.
No.
Firmino.
Yes.
Is there another one?
No.
Has he not named all his subs? Fair play to Chris Pajak. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 subs, is that right? He hasn't gone with the wall. Bravo to Mr. Chris Pajak. Absolutely nailed that one. Liverpool's 11, then it's a banger. I think I made up Jota's back. We'll come to that in a moment, and me and Al will talk about that. Let us know in the live chat right away, guys, your thoughts on that Liverpool 11. It's Ali, it's Costas, it's Virgil, it's Matip, it's Trent, Fab, Thiago, Elliott, Diaz, Diogo Jota, first start of the season for him, and Mohamed Salah as well, like I say, the bench. Adrian and Arthur, Davies, Milner, Phillips, Nunes, Gomez, Carvalho, Bacetic, and Bobby Firmino. I'm going to speak about Jota now. I still think if it was the Champions League final tomorrow and everyone was fit and available, who we've got now,
Liverpool wouldn't be in it.
we'd get be 7-0, yeah. But if he was in it, I think Jota's the man still. I know there's time for Nunes to come and develop. I think the plan was always you go with Jota and you ease Darwin Nunes in. And I know people go, he's a club record signing, you can just throw him straight in. I just don't think that was ever really meant to be the case. I think Jota, it was always going to be Jota. I think that's the front three. Diaz, Jota, Salah. That when Jürgen sat down in the summer when they knew Sadio was going, I think that was the one he wanted to start the season with, and then he can introduce Nunes slowly, introduce Roberto Firmino as and when he needs him as well. But I made up Jota's back. But yeah, Errol, what are your thoughts on the 11 first? And has anyone give you any shouts as well?
Yeah, we've got some comments. Emmy Cophide says, hope Elliott has the 10 role. Tig says, need that Jota run and jumping power in this game. Got people shouting for Matip in this team as well. They're happy. A couple of people. Ben Liddell says no Darwin. Who else have we got? We've got a super chat from Gareth Baird says, lads, can anyone of my Redmen family help me get a ticket for Anfield? Living in Northern Ireland, it's almost impossible to get one.
Yeah, well, Liverpool have made it more impossible because there's basically Spurs don't exist much anymore because you've got to be on your friends and family list to pass tickets on. The best way, honestly, mate, is to become a member, try and get one, or they do like additional sales very late on.
Days before
the game, where people who can't make it send them back, because honestly, mate, the days of just finding spares almost now are impossible, or hospitality and spend a fortune. Like, that's where we're at.
My thoughts generally on this though, I was kind of hoping, and I'm kind of, in a way, I'm glad that he hasn't, but I was kind of hoping that Jürgen had seen something where he's like, we need a drastic change. And for me, his drastic change is the personnel, not necessarily the system, which is quite a surprise because I was of the opinion that maybe the formation would have changed for this game.
I don't think he's ever, when does he rarely starts a game within, he might change it within a game, and often his changes to bring a striker on. and make it more 4-2-3-1ish. But he very rare. When's the last time we started the game? Not 4-3-3. It's very, 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 very seldom. Got a few chats from the Redmen Plus Discord channel. All you wonderful club legends. Yeah, if you sign up to Redmen Plus as a club legend, access to the Discord, you can interact with the shows, interact with us, interact with each other as well. Jürgen's Tricky Reds calls it a good team. Danny M basically says JOTA baby, and yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think anyone who's been watching Redmen for a while now knows I fucking love Diogo Jota. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And then back to the chat as well. Yeah. Oh, hello, Paul. The boss is watching. Yeah, hope we're doing a good job for you, mate. He says 4-2-3-1 is usually for teams who are not good enough to play 4-3-3. Now, there's a question to say at the moment. Liverpool aren't good enough to play 4-3-3. But
I just thought to weather the storm, do we get through a period where we just become a little bit more compact, have the midfield closer to that back line?
You can do that with 4-3-3, though, can't you? You can basically say to Trent and Costas, if you want, just have 5 yards. Or to the lads, drop 3 or 4. Because, and I've been saying this for a while, mate, is that high line, I love the high line. I think I love it. I think it helps us so much how many times. It only works if there's pressure on the ball.
And we can pen the other team in their half.
But because you catch them offside, or you hope that the ball's over the top, Ali comes and gets it, or you put Virgil in and you'll be fine. When it can't work is if there's no pressure on the ball, and the defender on midfield, the with it, can just put it wherever they want it. You want them just hoofing it clear over the top for Ali. That's what you want. And that was the problem I thought at Napoli, is that we were so high, but they had all day to put it behind us. So there's been a lot of talk about Elliott, and he kind of comes into this defensively on that right-hand side as well. You know, Trent hasn't been great. I think that's fair to say. Salah hasn't really looked at his best. He's been out wide a lot. There's been a lot of talk. We know Harvey Elliott's a good player, but the balance of the side. How do you feel about it with Elliott over on that right-hand side? He's basically an ever-present now. He's made that position his own. Very much like Salah plays right wing, Trent plays right back, Virgil plays centre-half, Ali plays in goal, Harvey Elliott plays right centre-mid. That's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen, yeah. Cause
But I think it's fair to say, for all the ills of Jordan Henderson, and loads of people hate Jordan Henderson, and I very much understand. Well, I don't understand it, but I acknowledge that is the case. One thing he does do is he covers Trent a lot. When Trent goes, Hendo often gets over there as well. That's the one thing maybe Harvey is lacking. He's a more offensive player, of course, but it does leave us a little bit more open. The balance of the side is different. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
No, I agree with you, and I think it's a case of those three are going to have to work out between them the rhythm, the timing of those runs that each other wants to make, the positions that they need to then pick up when someone vacates the space. That's going to be something that's going to become a learned behaviour. It's not going to be instinctive to them, because all three of them seem to have this attacking fortitude where they just want to fly forward and offer us some sort of attacking threat, which is great when it works well. Bournemouth is a prime example. When it works well, we're going to roll over teams and we're going to create chances from all over the pitch. When it doesn't work well, the element that you've just picked up on there in terms of that cover, it's not always there for Trent. And I think it's that we've got accustomed to Trent being so far forward now that we kind of forgive some of his defensive responsibilities, whether they are expected of him or what we expect the traditional right back to do. We forgive a large portion of those responsibilities because we understand what he offers going forward. However, there is still a responsibility on that right-hand side as a team and as a unit. That area of this pitch needs to be covered at certain times. There needs to be protection there. And that's something that Harvey's going to have to work on. He's going to have to learn, because it's all well and good having this attack-minded sense of it, you know, and your ability and being able to use it, but no one gets a grace period in this Liverpool team under a Klopp system by just playing the way that they want to play. You have to start being able to fit in the mould of how he wants you to play a particular role. And as you say, no one emphasises that more than Jordan Henderson, in the sense that he is very selfless. He will sacrifice those advanced positions sometimes to cover and leave Trent up there. It's about knowing who's going to be the most potent from that forward right-hand side area at any given time, and having enough cover to kind of counterbalance that.
I sometimes feel Trent plays right back like he's still got Jordan Henderson in the team, and he hasn't.
Exactly.
Harvey is a willing...
And Harvey plays like he's got a right back that wants to stay at right back.
Yeah,
and he hasn't.
Exactly that. That's what I think with the balance sometimes, is that Hendo's not there, and Elliott will try, and he really will, and Salah will do. Salah doesn't shake it.
He does, but Salah wants to do it in big game. In a game, in Salah's mind, when it's like, I've got to do it against City because we're going up against the title against City. But if it's against Crystal Palace or if it's against Fulham, I'm expecting the right back and the right centre mid to do that job so I can save me legs.
Well, he can't be. He done it against Everton, didn't he? He was on the goal line trying to block. He will do it, but like that's break glass.
Yeah.
Like everybody else should be boxing up. I think Fabinho hasn't been in good form as well, and that hasn't helped things. Ajax have named their team, by the way, and I'll bring that out for you guys. Now it's been along the bottom of the screen for the last few minutes. Tom already shortages, but if you haven't noticed that yet, so it's Pasvia, Timber, Bassi, Alvarez, Bergwijn, Taylor, Tadic, got Renge, Blind, Kudos, and Berghuis as well. Yeah, and then look, their bench is massive, including some names you'll remember there: Stekelenburg, Klaassen, two Everton absolute legends there on the Ajax bench as well. But yeah, it's a very good Ajax side. Like they've been in fine form. They had options. They brilliant. Yeah, they've been really, really good. Liverpool are going to have it up, basically have a tough game, I think. I really think that. Back to the Discord, and Steve Ryder, shout out to Steve, says Trent, Van Dijk and Fabinho all need to put a shift in tonight to make up for what they've been seeing. Me, Paul and Chris said this on the podcast, and Quad Bod agrees, by the way. He says Fab is key. He needs to sort out the midfield organisation. There's loads wrong with Liverpool. There has been loads wrong, I should say, who knows. But one of them is lads just not playing well enough. Does the system, I agree, the injuries, maybe you don't agree with the transfer policy, which I think is fair enough as well. But ultimately, if Van Dijk was playing at his best, and Fab was at his best, and Trent was at his best, and Salah was at his best, and whoever the other centre-half was, and Robbo, now it's Costa, that's what you can win games by not playing well because you're good players just at a level where they go, you know what, we'll just sort this shit out. How many times did Liverpool crap last year, or the year before, and just pull one out the bag because the level of the player, when there might be injuries, well, there is injuries, and there are questions about certain places in the team. What you can't then have is like Van Dijk putting in like 4 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s, and Trent dropping 3, 4 out of 10s.
Have you given him a 4 this?
Possibly. I give Trent a 0 the other day. but you know what I mean?
No, mate, I completely get it.
Your big players need to bail you out. That's what they pay the biggest fees and the biggest wages, because there's a reason why. Because there's a level you're expected to get to. Things can be going wrong all around you. You can be getting played off the park, but Van Dijk,
how often have we said, if me and you go and play alongside Van Dijk, all of a sudden we look like well beaters because we're next to Van Dijk.
And this season's not been the case.
That's not been the case. He'd talk us through a game. It doesn't look like he can talk himself through the game at the moment, and maybe that's a loss in confidence. Maybe on a psychological level, they're still a little bit hurt and they're a bit fatigued. Is that the right word? I don't know if it's like there's still a little bit of mental fatigue going on. Possibly, whatever it is, a mental block.
I said the other day, it looked against Napoli that they felt sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
And you're very raised about the Reds.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't be feeling sorry about yourselves. Like, at some point, like, that season where we spent the better part of 4 or 5 months talking about the season that had gone out, the defence has fallen flat on its arse, and we was on our last legs and all this. At some point, even us as fans, and we was doing the watch-alongs and we was doing the show, said, right, we've got to draw a line. That was an anomaly season. Like, that wasn't us. That's not in our character. That's not in our DNA. We've got to accept it for what it is, and we've got to move forward. These players have got to do the same about last season now. Yeah, it fucking hurt. Yeah, we would have loved to have won the quad. Yeah, it would have made history, but there's still a task at hand here. It was a brand new season which presents us with brand new opportunities. Feeling sorry for yourself in this particular moment is not going to lead you down any successful. Like, you can sit there and lick your wounds, but you've had the summer to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
get on with it.
You need to get on with it now, and you need to book your ideas up ASAP, because, like, we've said it, you can't win a league in August and you can't win a Champions League in August, but you can fucking be out of those competitions by September coming into October. You can be out of them, especially when you're up against this City team, especially when you're going to be up against the likes of Bayern, the resurgent Barca, the reigning champs in Real Madrid, City in
You could be on 0 points going into the international break, and then all of a sudden there's 2 big games against Rangers that are must-wins, you're right.
And we keep saying the same thing. There's only, like, how at what point do we want to start playing smart footy again, where we're not necessarily having to exert every last ounce of it? Like, I know Jurgen's got this saying of, you know, we want to leave nothing on the pitch, but eventually there's going to be nothing left to take off the pitch if we carry on.
You know, we might help that, mate, is the main fella being back in the midfield. Well, Thiago.
Yeah.
Like, the worry I've had with Liverpool, I think Thiago's our best player, certainly our best midfielder, and one of our best players, if not the best. The issue with him is the fitness. Liverpool have built a system now that needs Thiago in it, which is a risk because he's been injured every season. He's had injuries. He gets injured.
That was before he even came to us.
He's always It's just his nature. It's just who he is. But when he's fit, we can do all that. We can take it. He controls the tempo of the game. The opposition don't control the tempo of the game. If it needs speeding up, Thiago speeds up. If it needs slowing down, Thiago can slow it down. We even saw that he come on at Napoli and he just looked miles better than everyone. He just did. Even their players, like, by this point the game was dead, don't get me wrong, we were fucked, and anyone could have made, he could have brought anyone on, and he'd have been better because Liverpool would, again, go back to the aforementioned absolute crap, but he just looked, he loved levels above, and my hope is now, and I've got a few points on it, but the first one, Thiago, whether he would have played this game today, started, if the Chelsea game was still on, I don't know. What Jurgen would have prioritised, would he have risked them in both? It doesn't matter now because the Chelsea game's off. So that might be why, again, a strong team, in theory, that helps that as well, because he might have had to rest and rotate. But if he comes back in and if he's anywhere near Thiago's level, that raises Liverpool significantly because he's world class. We've got loads of world class players, but actually none of them are playing world class. Maybe the goalkeeper, I say, is probably playing at that level, and Diaz is playing pretty good. The rest of it, okay, hit and miss. Like your big stars, he's a superstar player, and if he can set the level, hopefully raise the others with him. You know what I mean? Like that's my hope.
I think we've been coasting at a level that's not been what we've become used to. And I think when you take Jordan Henderson out to the side, that's the one thing, a lot of people will, what he does. And there's so many elements of his game that's intangible. But the one thing that I've always noticed about the standards that he wants to set, even if he's not capable of being the best player on the pitch, he makes sure that everybody else makes their play up to their level. He knows what each individual player is able to give. And when they're not given that, he's the first one to be telling them about themselves because he's the captain and that's the responsibility upon his shoulders. So I think when we've not had that, we've missed it. And Fabinho, for all of his qualities, he's not really a leader. He's never really been a leader. He's a bit of more of a tactician. He knows his game really well inside out. He knows what he should be doing. He probably knows himself. He's probably been a little bit out of form, but there are circumstances to that which kind of say to me he's in uncharted territory in terms of he's having to cover both sides of those holes from the left and the right side now. He's having to kind of put a shield and an arm around Harvey and Carvalho in the derby I don't think he played that bad as a midfield. It just didn't seem very polished. It didn't seem like they'd played a lot of football with each other. So there are moments where he looks a little bit out of his depth, but it's not in his individual role. It's in the role of the unit that he's been asked to do. So that three, when it's him as the experienced one, I have me concerns because he doesn't expel that experience to other players. That experience starts and ends with him, which is great in isolation when you've got Thiago one side and Henderson the other, because those players don't need someone to coach them and tell them their role. They're very capable of leading their responsibilities in their own way. And I think we're going through we're going through a period now where at some point we're going to have to start embedding those in if the linchpin of that midfield is good. If Fabinho, say for example, now is going to become the ever-present in this midfield all season, touch wood, he stays fit, he's going to have to start adopting some lessons in leadership and responsibility from Henderson and Thiago over the course of this season to take him to another level.
They need him. Liverpool need him playing well. Got a super chat here from Ethan Strawn, $10 Canadian there. Thank you very much, Ethan. He says, I had to go for Arthur over Elliot. I would have gone for Arthur ahead of Elliot. We need physicality in midfield.
He's not that physical though, Arthur, though, is he?
I wouldn't say, and also I'm not sure how fit he is. Like, I don't know if he hasn't played a game, match fitness. Jurgen said it's going to take a while. He's got the international break to maybe try and get himself really, really fit. But yeah, I don't think he's a physical player, to be honest with you, mate. If you were looking at physicality, James Milner.
Throw Phillips in there.
It's Milner, isn't it?
No, it is.
He was never going to.
I think all again goes back to the point you said before about not changing the formation. You change formation, you get Bobby in the hole, and you just have Thiago and
like a 40.
Yeah. And I think as well, when you're looking at the likes of Fab now, I think he has got a chance to kick on for us this season. I think he's definitely got it in his locker, and I think, as you said, it's just about getting the consistency out of these players now. With the likes of Arthur, I think he's got a very, very big opportunity this season for him, because anyone can see from a country mile that as much as Harvey Elliott's done well, they're still up for grabs, that position.
Yeah, no one's
covered themselves in that glory to say that none of them are replaced, apart from Fabinho and obviously Thiago, and he's fit. They're the first two that are eschewing. I think Henderson has unfortunately dropped down a pecking order now. If there was someone else who was consistently more available and better, they might get in ahead of Henderson. Henderson might get his game selected for him, which is fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. But they're all injured for one, and Arthur should be the guy coming in thinking, right, how can I get myself up to match fitness as soon as possible, and how can I start battling to get in favour with Klopp?
I think we're hopefully going to see a lot more of him again post international break. Speaking of the the Wolves game being off and the Chelsea game being off, like I said, obviously the circumstances around it aren't great, of course, and I think they still should have played Wolves. I've got no issue with the Chelsea game being off. If it can't be played safely, then games can't be on. I understand that, but I'm wondering, would the team be this strong if we just played Wolves on Saturday and we had Chelsea on Sunday? I mean, God knows. Because,
well, we will know, because you'd be asking Simicast to play 3 games on the bounce. Is your answer? And there's already,
and Robbo's out, so yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Already, you've got a left back now that hasn't played 3 games in God knows how long, and back to back now, asking him to play in a week, just over a week, 8 days. You're going to play 3 games, and we want you to play at a particular level. It's a big ask. On top of that, then you've also got the likes of Jota and Nunes. Who starts in what game? You'd probably said, right, your Champions League. If you're going to say your Champions League final game, I know the competition is the Champions League right now, but if they're out of those 2 teams, who are you more likely to bump into a final? It's going to be Chelsea. So Jota probably starts on Sunday, which means Nunes probably gets the nod for this game. So there's probably a few tweaks that happen, but I think Klopp will be... He will appreciate the fact that he's got this time now, and there's an opportunity for him to take advantage of that, because he wouldn't have asked for it. You know, it's been thrust on him, and it's been given him. He's now got to make the best use of that time and be able to utilise having players that are actually going to be able to fit to do a job.
Yeah, if you want to know more, again, if you're looking for more content, by the way, Paul had Ian and Ste in today for the debate show, and they spoke. Literally, that what should Liverpool do in the next 17 days after today? Just try and get themselves post-international break to play Brighton, get themselves back in full fitness, up to speed, all that kind of stuff. What needs to change after tonight? Well, hopefully...
Warm weather training, get out somewhere.
Get yourself to Dubai or something, but hopefully, fingers crossed, Liverpool can win this one. I say, if you want to check out that show, go over to Redmen Plus. There's tons over there. Right now, in the build-up show, you can listen to the opposition preview that I did with Pepe Mento from We Talk Ajax. There's loads and loads and loads. If you want to stick on the YouTube channel, fair enough. We've got Jurgen's pre-match press conference and Joel Matip's as well. Yeah, so that's available for you on the YouTube channel. Me and Errol are going to take a quick break. We'll be back for the live watch-along at 1:45. So in about 45 minutes, just over 45 minutes or so's time, we'll be back for the full watch-along. Come and join us for that one. Put it on your TV, press mute, listen to us. We've got you covered. We'll be biased. We'll do everything we can to will the Reds on. And then post-match, of course, the fan reaction show with Errol, the player ratings with me, both on YouTube. And then we'll head back over to Redmen Plus for the instant match reaction. Yeah, join Redmen Plus now. You've got 45 minutes to do it. Go enjoy some of all the amazing content, and then get the instant match live post kickoff, and we're hopefully celebrating a Liverpool win. Right, we're all off to get a bit of food. We'll catch you in 45 minutes. Take care.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to continue the conversation, then head over to Redmen Plus. Join as a club legend and get access to our Discord chat. It's got us in, and it's got loads of amazing like-minded Reds. There's a no-knob policy in there, so where you won't have that on social media, you will have it over on the Redmen Plus Discord. It's full of sound people. Come and join us.